What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Let's get right into it. First and foremost, Happy New Year's to everyone. This game ended in New York in the new year, so first game of the year is already over. Um, let's talk about it though. College football playoff matchup, game of the night: Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Georgia Bulldogs. Heck of a game, man. Bulldogs win 42-41. Ohio State had the chance to win in the last second field goal. The kick was hard left, nowhere near close. I'm not sure what happened then. We'll see the replay at all. So it is what it is. Ohio State loses. They were winning most of the game, all the game. They were winning the entire game. At one point in time, early fourth quarter, about 10 minutes left. I want to do an early video. I do that sometimes, with certain big matchups and the game's over around the fourth quarter. I record a little early, get out the way, try to be one of the first ones done with the video. But couldn't quite do it. Some told me to hold off on it because Ohio State couldn't quite finish these guys off the way it was looking. They were making stops here and there. They were doing this here and there, moving the ball, making plays, but it just wasn't enough to put the game away. And I can't blame it on Jim Knowles. They were up 11, fourth quarter, about 8 minutes left, 7 minutes left. Ran man coverage, no safety or one deep safety, whatever it was, and he got burnt again. And I'm the captain of the blame Jim Knowles ship since last game for Ohio State versus Michigan. He was my thumbnail. He was my main reason for Ohio State losing that matchup. So I'm spearheading that movement. I'm not going there this time. He played he coached a pretty good game. Mixed up zone, mixed up, two deep safety. So he had overall good looks, even with that blown coverage. And like I said, the player did fall. I understand that, but still, you shouldn't have been calling man coverage in that situation. They still were up 3 points. The offense still should have got it done. Should have put it out of arm's reach and couldn't do it. So it is what it is. So I can't blame Jim Knowles. Just a tough game, tough matchup. Georgia's number one team in the country for a reason. And Twitter was going ablaze early in the fourth quarter and most of the game with Georgia's fraud, Stetson Bennett sucks, blah blah blah. And excuse me, I myself don't think much of Stetson Bennett as an NFL prospect. You know, um, and not really as a college football quarterback in the sense that he's an elite player. I kept him out of my final Heisman rankings. I kept him. I started kind of late in my Heisman rankings, but even when I ended it, when everyone got hurt, when Hooker got hurt, a couple other guys went down or lost leverage, and like Bo Nix was top five to me. He lost his leverage or whatever. He never finished in my top five. Never did. Because talented team, talented group. I think they kind of had it easy. Some of these matchups they had this year. So I didn't think he was an elite prospect. Or not elite prospect, but I don't think he's an elite college football quarterback. But he is one thing. He is a big time player. He is big time in the clutch moments, and he played his butt off. He played his butt off, man. Game winning draw prior to the Ohio State matchup. He led the Bulldogs to an actual game winning drive with 6, 7 plays, 70 something plus yards. He showed phenomenal poise, phenomenal accuracy on that last drive. And funny thing is, since the second half before his last drive, before the Bulldogs' last drive, the last meaningful drive, they did finish with the ball and take a kneel down, whatever. He only had 6 completions, 6 completions in the second half until his last drive to put the Bulldogs up. 6 completions, and that last drive, excuse me, that last drive, he was phenomenal. He was phenomenal, man. He put up good numbers: 398 yards, 23 for 34, 3 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. I thought at certain points of the matchup, Georgia's offense got a little cute, got a little fancy for no reason. But the run game was shut down. The passing game as well was shut down for a little bit. Ohio State played well. Like I said, Jim Knowles played well. I can't blame him this time around. But there was cause to pause. But there's a reason why Georgia is so great. But I do want to say this. Ohio State, I believe, had the best chance to beat them. TCU, I can't see it personally. I can't see Max Duggan carving these guys up. But there is a blueprint to beat these teams. You do have Quentin Jefferson, not Quentin Jefferson, Quentin Johnson, I believe his name is, 6'2", 6'3" wide receiver from TCU. Should be a lot for the first round draft, this upcoming draft. Pretty good prospect. You saw today against Michigan, played well, 6 catches for 100 plus yards. He has to go off against Ringo. I'm sure him and Ringo will be matched up. Ringo was picked upon most of the game, mostly on inside plays. Jalen Carter didn't do too much. Was shut down most of the night. Had one big tip, I think in the third quarter maybe. He had one big tip pass. Other than that, though, nothing else really. There was no real star player on the defense for Georgia. They were really lucky to win this game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Georgia's defense, they came up big in the fourth. They did limit Ohio State on their second to last drive to make them have a field goal. That blitz on second and third down really came in clutch, sped up CJ Stroud's process, made him throw the ball a little inaccurate, and so. But overall, man, great game, fun game to watch, heck of a game. Um, and I kind of alluded to this. I'm gonna do a video on it probably tomorrow, maybe right after this, but won't come out till tomorrow evening, tomorrow morning ish. But did CJ Stroud do enough to be the number one player in the country going to the draft? Is he QB1? I alluded to this happening actually in my video prior, about 3 p.m. today after Bama's game versus Kansas State. I said I'm pretty sure I said CJ Stroud would probably have a Justin Fields like performance in the playoffs. He didn't get the 2 games like Fields did. He only got the one. But we all know, Fields put on a heck of a performance a couple years ago in the playoffs, and he kind of, in some people's eyes, pushed Trevor Lawrence for the number one spot. And I was feeling the same way about Stroud, because Stroud do enough to get QB1 or push the narrative to get QB1 over Bryce Young. I don't know. As I said in the video earlier, my video was titled, and I stand on it, Bryce Young's a lot for number one overall pick. Well, the first, at least for QB1, if he's not number one overall pick. Uh, you know, I'll do a video on that, discussing that next. But we'll have to talk about that. But Stroud played a heck of a game. Stroud was fantastic. Finally used his legs. Um, played smart game. Played a heck of a game. None else you can say. If Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't get injured, would have won? I can't even talk. If Marvin Harrison Jr. would have stayed healthy after that targeting call, would they have won the game? You never know. You never know, man. So I can't chalk it up to Harrison getting hurt. They had moments, like I said, that they had a game-winning drive. The kicker just couldn't make the field goal kick, so it is what it is. But yeah, Harrison could have been the difference. Maybe not. We'll never know today. But he played well as well. Got injured third quarter, late third quarter, I believe. Never came back. But Fleming stepped up. Ibukum stepped. I think his name Ibukum. Ebukam, whatever his name is. Excuse me for messing his name up, but he stepped up pretty good. And Ohio State was down a lot of their star players. The tight end, the other Jackson Smith Enigma. So they had guys down. Harrison, they had guys down. But they definitely played the game of their life. They played well. They played tough. And I just can't see how TCU beats this Georgia squad. Ohio State gave them the business and didn't end up winning the game. TCU, I, good luck. Good luck. I will say that. Max Duggan has to show up. They gotta play a more gritty, more gritty, grinded out type of game than Ohio State did. Ohio State score fast, score quick, efficient. I don't think the Zach game plan will be the same for TCU versus Georgia, but we'll see when the time comes, and we'll talk about that later when the time comes. But shout out Georgia, shout out Ohio State, heck of a game, fun game. Technically, the first game of the year ended like a minute into the year. It ended about 12:01 or 12 on the dot. So overall fun game, man. I enjoyed it. So that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.